What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, doing more anime talk. I'm at the official halfway point of season 1. I'm at episode 13.5. I felt like this is a good time to kind of recap my thoughts and opinions on the show. I feel like I can give you guys more anime talk because I got such positive feedback from the first video, 265 comments. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that at all. So I figure I'll do a video at the halfway point, then I'll do one more at the end of season 1, giving my full opinions on the entire season of Attack on Titan. Alright, so let's start with, well, obviously I am really enjoying the show, spoiler alert, but let's start with one of the things that you'll probably hear most people talk about, or at least bring up throughout the, if you've listened to anybody talk about Attack on Titan, and that is just the impressive use of the camera. I really haven't seen anything like this where the characters move in such an exciting and free-flowing way that it's as exciting to watch them move to the battle locations as it is the battles themselves. I mean, I can't really think of a situation where I know something's about to go down and I just start getting hyped because I want to see them move around. It's so free-flowing. It's so exciting to see, Eren and Armin swinging from buildings, and it's kind of like poetry in motion. It's like watching an anime version of Spider-Man. So I said in my first video that Mikasa was my favorite character, and she still continues to be by far. Like, in the 3 years, she's even evolved more as a character than somebody like Eren, in my opinion. Obviously, we saw that, she had the fighting skills and that she was probably going to be a badass. I mean, she's pretty much considered one of the elites in all of humanity as far as killing Titans go and, handling herself with weapons. But what I didn't expect for her to be is for her to not blossom into a cliche. Because when I looked at her, from the outside looking in, I kind of thought that she was going to kind of be the doll character, the female character who has basically little to no emotion and is, just kind of like a recreation of Rei from, Neon Genesis Evangelion. But you see when Ahriman tells her that Eren has been killed by a Titan, at first she kind of gives this just beautiful rah-rah speech about how I'll go kill all the Titans myself, you guys are cowards, whatever, I'll get this done, if I fight, I can live, and all of this other stuff, which basically pumps everybody up. And she immediately kills a Titan, and then Ahriman's like, wait a minute, you're not as focused and as, calm as you usually are. And you see that she completely kind of breaks down, and as a Titan starts approaching her, she kind of gives up on life. Like, she has all of this inner pain, but even if she doesn't show it in the most obvious way, it's like they found a very happy medium between, the typical girl who's crying on the battlefield, just bawling her eyes out, and the lifeless doll who doesn't really show any emotion. Like, they found a really great medium, and I think it's making me like her as a character so much more. Shocker alert, Ahriman is not useless, and I'm pretty thankful of that because he could have easily just wallowed in the despair of having gotten Eren killed and, maybe throughout the show had his one impressive, coming of age episode where he kills a Titan all by himself. But then after that just kind of fades into the abyss and becomes an irrelevant character, just kind of sitting on the sidelines cheering everybody on. But, he's kind of figured out this spot of, I know that I'm not that, I know that I'm not that battle savvy. I know that I'm not as powerful or as skillful as anybody else under this command. But, what I am is smart, and I can kind of think up some strategies on the fly, and, a lot of times they're going to work. And one thing that I've always loved in anime, I love an anime where they put the characters in a situation and, they have to kind of come up with a plan on the fly. They tell you how they're going to execute it. I feel like Neon Genesis Evangelion kind of perfected this art. Whenever they were going into battle with the Angels, you always kind of knew what Asuka and Shinji were going to do as far as a battle strategy, and maybe they would make adjustments if it wasn't working. When they were put in the position on Attack on Titan to where they had to get the tanks and there were 7 Titans in the room, Armin came up with a really good idea. Okay, we'll put everybody, or we'll put, most of the squad in this little platform. We'll lower you guys. We'll get the Titans' attention. We'll make sure they get super close. You'll fire the guns. You'll blind them. And then the 7 of you guys can just come from behind them and just clean up. Like, it was brilliant. And it kind of cemented his spot as a character on this show. Like, now, if there's one thing that Attack on Titan has done, and it is pretty much done masterfully, it has conveyed war in a very realistic way. I mean, there's so many times where after even a small skirmish, you know, you see the soldiers come back from battle, they're completely dejected, you know, sometimes they're dismembered and maimed, it's hard to look at, and you see some of the soldiers are just, they're losing it, they're fucking going bonkers, you know, guys are willing to commit suicide rather than go out there and have to face the Titans again. It's incredible, and I love the scene where Eren is running with the elite squad because they're going to obviously start the mission, and the girl looks at him and she tells him, you know, don't you ever forget that every single soldier out there who's trying to protect you, who is going to inevitably lose their life today for your sake, every single one of them has a name, has a family, has their own personality, and none of them are coming back. They're all willing to sacrifice themselves for you. Like, you know, that puts everything into perspective. It conveys the point of no battle, no war fought is without loss. And a lot of animes either ignore this or just lose focus, you know. Usually when the war ends in animes, it's like all fucking rainbows and sunshine and lollipops and shit like that, and that's not really how it is. You know, this show, and I don't even think that they intentionally did that, they're shedding kind of a new light on military life, because I don't even know if this was supposed to be a show about military life, but it's kind of unveiling the truth, you know what I mean? It shows how hard it is to be a soldier. You know, the scene where Gene is kind of running through the city. By the way, I'm already willing to nominate him as most underrated character. He's my second favorite character in the show. I hope he doesn't die. Anyways, you know, where Gene is trying to escape from the Titan, and he has the faulty equipment, and he has to run in the house and hide, and all the other members are trying to save him. And this whole time, Marco has been kind of saying, you know, Gene, you are a real leader, even if you don't think that you are, and you saved my life countless times with your orders. And then after basically the struggle is over and Gene finds Marco's body, it really hits him. And as the nurse is trying to tell him to, you know, give me the guy's name so that I can identify him, Gene is just sitting there completely distraught, can't even speak a word. He's just so broken up. And that's, you know, kind of like what war really is. So I'm absolutely loving the show right now. I can't really find like a huge flaw in it. I guess you could make the argument that Eren's not nearly as interesting as some of the other characters. Like, I find Gene and Mikasa and even Armin to be far more fascinating characters. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like Attack on Titan? Is there anything anime related at all do you think that I should talk about, or that you just want to comment below? Go ahead and post that. And yeah, there's one anime that seems to be coming up now that is definitely a potential for me to watch, and I have heard some people call it the king of the shonen, and I'm like, whoa, that is a strong statement. That is a show called Hunter x Hunter. So if you know anything about that, tell me if that's a good show. Thank you guys for watching, as always.